It's always a privilege to see some of the best face off, especially when they are fighters who do not know how to put on a boring fight. That's what combat sports is all about, for me at least. To judge a fight, I put aside almost all else, any business or drama, and just grade them primarily based on two things: violence and skill. A war between fighters of the highest regard in both areas is coming our way on Sunday, but with some added spice, the one other factor I sometimes consider: the wild card of a true spectacle. There have been many different forms of spectacle in combat. A legendary trilogy bout like Ward vs. Gotti, for example. There's also the bid for two or even three-weight championship glory, like Pacquiao's run up the weight classes in his day, or Conor McGregor's. Then there is the spectacle that the early UFC made its market out of, that of clashes between disparate and dominant combat arts, a thing which turns combat sports fans tribal for their favorite art. Back in the day, it was wrestling versus boxing, wrestling versus jiu-jitsu. Recently, we've seen boxing versus MMA a lot, though it's often a clown show, more of a goof than a serious fight. With this fight, it could not be any more serious. Kickboxing and Muay Thai, Japan and Thailand, Takeru and Superlek, facing off in Tokyo, one of the spectacles of the decade. And as an added bonus, they're both right around their primes, which is often rare for modern spectacle fights. With his only loss in 10 years coming to the greatest kickboxer of the millennium and the biggest Japanese fight of the millennium, Takeru represents the elite of the elite in striking sports, being only slightly removed from true GOAT status, exactly one Tenshin Nasukawa away from it. One of the most gratifying sequences in modern sports is Takeru's cheeky grin as he stares down the barrel of his opponent's fists, takes the full force of the blasts, and refuses to stop smiling as he still just breaks their wills and their faces. His style of kickboxing is relentless aggression, tempered somewhat, but more so hardened in the fire of his mastery of striking form. His opponent on Sunday, Superlek Kiatmuu9, represents the apex of what a Nakmuai can be. The art of 8 limbs is demonstrated perfectly in Superlek, who has mastered both the technical 12-ounce clinch-heavy stadium Muay Thai setting and also the violent 4-ounce slugfest that has won championship Muay Thai. He had equal success in each realm, and in kickboxing to boot. Maybe the most incredible thing about Superlek is that 12 years after he won the Thai Sports Authority's Fighter of the Year award in Thailand at the age of 16, he is one of the best in a sport which usually has infamously short fighter careers. Superlek himself has had 169 fights since going pro. He has fought slightly more than an average of once a month for the last 14 years. As for Takeru's accolades, he became the first three-weight K1 champion in history, and he represented them in the match 2022. It's hard to capture in words just how massive Takeru is in Japan, just how monumental a stage the match was. It's no exaggeration to label the main event as the biggest fight in Japanese combat sports history, even keeping in mind the rich and storied history of fighting in the country where so many combat arts find their roots. People lined up outside the Tokyo Dome who were not even able to dream of getting inside. Takeru represented K1 that day, has always loved K1, and always fought in Japan. Meanwhile, Superlek fought in Thailand his entire career, rising from fighting to feed his family as a 14-year-old Nakmoy to fighting Sam May, a legend 13 years older than him, in Lumpini Stadium at only age 17. He went from strength to strength, parlaying his Muay Thai ability into a kickboxing title, but he is still a Nakmoy at his core. Even with one championship, he has never fought outside of the Southeast Asia region, only venturing to the Philippines and to Singapore on a few occasions. Due to that, this fight was never one that fans expected to get. Even after Takeru signed with one, it was more of a pipe dream. It was assumed Rodtang would get it. Incidentally, someone who also put up a good fight against Tenshin but fell victim to the GOAT in the end. As little as a month ago, the billing was indeed Rodtang against Takeru, the two biggest stars from the East in one championship, even after Superlek beat Rodtang. That would have been a great fight too, but as a fan, I want to see the best possible fighters facing off. Superlek Kiatmuu9 is arguably the best in his own discipline currently, though there are some amazing talents in Stadium Muay Thai right now. Though he will be defending his one bantamweight kickboxing championship against Takeru, that is only the sport he is second best at. As Lumpini Stadium champion, the kicking machine excels in every facet of the art of 8 limbs. His kicks are simply the best in the world. Every round kick to the body thuds like a baseball bat swung into a heavy bag. He routinely dismantles skilled opponents with leg kicks in a sport where everyone knows how to check them. His maintaining of distance with his teep seems almost effortless. Yet for all his mastery with the longest of weapons, Superlek is one of the savviest clinch operators in the business. Even after missing weight, being knocked down early, and nearly gassing out in the third, he still beat Rodtang Jitmuangnon largely because he ate Rodtang's midsection up with the most damaging strikes in Muay Thai, knees to the body, which he achieved with slick clinch entries and high-volume offense from there, something rarely seen in one's 4-ounce Muay Thai because the rule set discourages it. So, despite being a two-weight Lumpini Stadium champion, the most prestigious Muay Thai championship in the world, a three-weight Thai Boxing Association champion, a WBC Muay Thai world champion, and a one-time Thai Fighter of the Year, because of the classic styles, Superlek will be without some of his best tools against Takeru. Such is the nature when different combat sports face off. One fighter has to make sacrifice, which influences the fight dynamic in a big way as their tools are diminished. In Muay Thai, Takeru would stand no chance. He is primarily a puncher in kickboxing and would not know how to deal with the clinch whatsoever, nor the size difference, so it has to take place in kickboxing. Superlek may still use the clinch to his advantage to tie up and stifle Takeru's shots. He will certainly not want to stand toe to toe with him, but the narrative in this one is largely the southpaw kicks of the taller, longer man against the punches, power, and relentless intensity of Takeru. Superlek's size and gas tank do come into question, but if he can make weight, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be able to go 5 rounds in Takeru Segawa's world. He has done it all at that weight multiple times before without issue. To be fair, never against someone with this ability, aggression in the sport, but on top of it all, everything I just listed before, both of these men have some of the best chins you'll ever see in the sport. Despite facing some of the hardest hitters and best fighters at multiple weight classes, each fighter has only a single knockout loss on their record, both by way of doctor stoppage. Takeru's came at age 20 and Superlek's at 22. What other fights can match this for spectacle, skill level, and action that have been announced for 2024 so far? Not many. Volkanovski vs. Topuria is the best fight currently scheduled in all of MMA, for my money, but it's not quite the spectacle that this is. Usyk vs. Fury will be one of the best fights of the century, but there is no way that action will be as high-paced and violent as Takeru vs. Superlek, in my opinion. Bivol vs. Beterbiev for the light heavyweight belts could reach that mark, but it's only rumored at the moment. When Takeru runs at Superlek, what will win out? Japanese kickboxing's relentless storm, a rolling thundercloud, an anvil which will bash itself against any surface over and over until one breaks in the fire? Or the apex predator Superlek, the Nakmoy who uses every tool he has to the fullest to hunt his prey, sleek and smooth in the art of violence? If you're an insane person like I am, with a fight that good, it's not even a question of if you'll be watching the fight, despite it being on in the early morning in the West, due to time zones. The only question is if you'll be staying up late on Saturday night or waking up early on Sunday.